Hi teachers, I wanted to walk you through the process of creating a Google Classroom and adding your students to that classroom. It's fairly simple if you follow the following steps. If you're logged into your Gadsden Google account, you'll notice your picture and your icon over here. That means you're already logged into that account. If you're not logged into your Gadsden Google account, you will need to log in your email at gisd.k12.nm.us. Remember, your password is your 2-digit month, 2-digit date, and 4-digit year of your date of birth. Once you're logged in, you're going to find the 3x3 dot grid, which is by your picture or your icon, and it says Google Apps. You're going to click on that, and you'll see all your Google Apps right here. If you scroll down, find the icon that says Classroom. You may not see it right at the beginning if you have never used Google Classroom. You might have to scroll down and find it further. Click on the icon that says Classroom. You'll be directed to a page that says Google Classroom. This is like a dashboard of any classroom that you're part of. You will most definitely see the classroom that says CES. That's Ms. Duque's classroom and Ms. Davis, where you are submitting your lesson plans and your work logs. You may have my classroom when we started doing Google Classroom last year. And you may also still have Mr. Snowdy's classrooms when he did the presentation with us for Google Classroom. If you've created a classroom, your classroom should be on this page as well. If you have not, we will create a classroom for you. In order to create a classroom, you're going to go to the plus sign at the far right-hand corner. And once you hover over it, it says create or join a class. You're going to click on that plus sign. You are going to create a class. So we will create a class here. When your students join a class, if you're going to use the code, they would follow these same steps, but instead of going to create class, they would click join class, and I'll go over that in a separate video. But for you to create a class, you're going to click on the plus sign and scroll down to create class. A box will pop up asking you for your class name. Just that first line is required. I would put your name. It's not necessary for you to fill out the section, the subject, or the room number unless you want to. You may want to add like the school year next to your name in case you plan on using Google Classroom next year. And then just click on create and a classroom will be created for you. Okay, here's my class that I just created. It's ready to go. The only thing that's missing is students. There are two options for you to add your students. One is to add your students individually, which is a little bit more work on your part. You can go up to the tab that says people. You have 4 tabs up here that say stream, classroom, people, and grades. You'll click on people and go down to where it says students and click on the icon with the little person and the plus sign that says invite students. Click on that. And right here, you'll type in your students' email addresses. Most of all the students in Gadsden have an email address for a Google account. It is their school ID and their first and last initial at gisd.k12.nm.us. So if you choose to add your students this way, you can do them here and then just click on invite. If you're adding your students yourself one by one and one of them is you're not able to add them, most of the time the problem is that they have been locked out. They still have an account, but they've been locked because it hasn't been used. So either your administrator or myself have to send in an email to technology letting them know, and then they'll unlock it for us. So if that does happen to you and you type in a student's email address and it doesn't allow you to add them, I created a Google Doc that I'm going to be sharing. And I just want teachers to add names of students that they were not able to add onto their Google Classroom. That way we can send in one long list to technology and we don't have to bother them with more than one email. Okay, so that's your first option. Your second option is if you go back to your stream page, which is your home page for your classroom. Your classroom title name is up here at the top, and right below it is a classroom code. That classroom code right here is more ideal when you're in the classroom with your students so that they can all join at the same time. This is another way for you to do it as well, even though they're at home. But if you click on there, it's just going to display the code a little bit bigger. This is the code for my classroom, so I wouldn't copy this code down right now for your classroom because each class has their own specific code assigned to them. When the students log into their Google accounts, they will log in with their student ID and their first and last initials at gisd.k12.nm.us. And that's when they click on the little plus sign, as I showed you earlier, join class, and this is the code that they will use. Once they do that, they're automatically uploaded to your class. Okay? And if you can follow those simple steps, you're ready to go with the Google Classroom. And the next steps would be to assign classwork. And I'll make sure that we get another video or PD on that as well. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or any of the teachers that are more familiar with Google Classroom.